Hey YouTube, it's ShryphonX here. Today we're going to be talking about Blackbeard and Xebec. Like and subscribe for more content. Blackbeard is Xebec's son. One Piece Chapter 1154. Everything adds up. Blackbeard is the literal heir to Xebec's legacy. In the previous One Piece chapter, we learned about how Harold became a pacifist king and the tragic birth of his son Loki. One Piece Chapter 1154 is titled, Unable to Die. We continue the Yamato cover story with Volume 38 of the Oni Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, as Ocho takes Yamato to the grave of a hero from West Blue who was raised in Ringo. 63 years ago, during the birth of Loki, the Big Mom incident occurred. Once Big Mom's rampage ended, Elbaf was struck by disasters like fires, storms, or famine. These disasters are quite correlated to Big Mom's Suru Nomi abilities. She can produce elements. Additionally, she eats so much food that she leaves others hungry. Surprisingly, the giants became so fearful that they even resorted to attacking Ida and Hadrudin, given the illegitimate relationship Harold had with them. Thankfully, they were saved by the arrival of King Harold. While Loki would say Hadrudin was privileged, let's face it, compared to a baby thrown from birth, he was. However, Hadrudin also faced hardship, being persecuted for a curse brought about by Big Mom in the middle of a superstitious kingdom. This could also be why he refuses to see his brother Loki as anything but a curse upon Elbaf, because his own life was ruined by these circumstances that were treated by the giants, who were based on real-life Norse mythology as movements of fate. 56 years ago, Galila and Pluton. 56 years ago, Loki was 7 years old, still an infant. At this time, Harold went to the Levely to represent his kingdom, but the government ignored his suggestions to build relations. We see this frustration of the world government stopping him from maintaining connections in the last chapter. When Harold returns to Elbaf, Gerald talks to Harold about the Galila, a group of ancient giant and non-ancient giant shipbuilders who were captured, possibly by the world government. The Galila Company are the company of shipwrights from Water 7, led by the mayor of Water 7, Icebug, who was the apprentice of the legendary fisherman shipwright Tom. There is clearly a connection between the two Galilas. Did Tom establish Water 7's Galila after meeting the members of the giant company? Or was Galila a pre-existing entity that continued the work of the giants? This could be why Tom had the blueprint for Pluton in the first place, as he likely inherited those plans from the giants, who were captured not just for naval use, but for the blueprints of Pluton. In a way, we are seeing some parallels between Water 7 and Elbaf's flashbacks, that the government was after a secret treasure from each area, Pluton and the legendary fruit. Last chapter, we learned that the giants were expert navigators, whose techniques were coveted by other countries. Redon also revealed that there is one more interesting detail, but he intends to reveal that for the full spoilers, so stay tuned. Estrida's sister reared Loki and abused him, while Harold was focused on rebuilding Elbaf. It seems that Harold really was kept in the dark about his supposedly dead firstborn. All along the story continues to show Loki's pitiful condition. You can see why he is a dark, menacing being, unable to find any good even in the land he had grown to love, a land that could only hate him. 48 years ago, Xebec, the strongest human in One Piece history. 48 years ago, Loki unleashed some giant beasts on the villages. This might as well be a prank and a way for him to gain some agency after all the abuse he suffered, first being thrown by his mother during his birth and then abused by his aunt. But when he saw how other children helped Hadrudin, he realized how alone he was. He was an angry, unwanted child who was abused and could only get attention or any modicum of love through violence and ruining people's days. His eyes and reputation since birth made it impossible for anyone to befriend. In a way, Loki wished for friends, and that wish coincided. with the arrival of the Rocks pirates in the underworld, and they asked Loki if they were in Elbaf and if Harold was around. As it turns out, Rocks met Harold during the Reverie 8 years ago. It is revealed that Rocks met Harold at the Reverie 8 years ago, but after that, Rocks killed a Marine admiral and became a wanted man. There are some interesting implications here. If Rocks met Harold, there are at least two ways he could have done so. Either he was a king himself, which explains Blackbeard's current ambitions for a kingdom in Hakanosu, or Rocks was a Marine who hated the government. We see Rocks D. Xebec's full face. He has two-tone hair and looks similar to Blackbeard. The chapter ends with the revelation that Rocks is in fact Blackbeard's father. What an incredible reveal within this dense chapter. The chapter barely focused on Loki, but on the circumstances that would lead to his rebellious rise. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content. ShryphonX out.